right, all. Welcome to week 8. Today we are going to talk about sound. Okay. Sound is, how to add sound to your projects, make it a multimedia project. So, first thing is what music or sound effects files can Adobe After Effects accept? The answer to that is it can work with most major sound files. This includes things like MP3, WAV, AIFF for all you these are all kind of standard audio formats. Okay. Uh, to note, Adobe After Effects is not a sound editing program. So, any sound you want to bring in, I would edit it before. We have a broadcast department here at Chabot, so I strongly recommend if you're interested in recording music and editing music and or sound in that sort of way to kind of look into those kind of classes. I'm not exactly sure there's a broadcast department that would cover this. Maybe me, I don't know, maybe it's music recording technology. So the music department, I don't know the exact classes they would have. So something like this, MURT 21, something like that. Okay. Just to give you an idea of how you might record. Now that's more professional level. In this class, we're just going to find audio files and work with them. I'm going to give you guys some resources to some free audio, files you can work with. These are a couple sound directories that I think are useful. One is called freesound.org. Freesound.org is a good audio library. It's open source, which means everything in here is usually Creative Commons. So you can at least use it, at least definitely for as long as it's nonprofit. Some of it is for, consumer based or for profit, for business purposes. Some of it's even public domain. It's a good website. It does require to download, you have an account, although that is free. So once you have an account, and it's free to set up an account. And so, for instance, this is really good for more sound effects as opposed to music. So, for instance, maybe I want a cow. I don't know, that just came to my head here, like a cow moo. There you go. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of these are not what I want, but maybe this one. So here, I'm going to download this one. Like I said, if you're logged in, you can download it. By the way, it's Creative Commons Zero here, which means it's public domain. Means you can copy, modify, distribute, and perform even for commercial purposes. So, in the off chance that your project, you make money from it, you can do that legally. It doesn't say you need attribution, so you don't have to put, this is I don't even know how you would pronounce that. Spiratin ran. That person, you don't have to attribute them. I'm going to download. Okay, so it downloaded there. Looks like it downloaded as a WAV file. Some other places you might find music or sound effects. Archive.org is a good one for music. They have a lot of like old radio and they have what are called net labels, which are like music that you can kind of use. So if here's some old radio programs that are public domain. I don't know if you'd want like an old radio program or something.
Bella Clown's classic in chills, The Lodger, wheeled off crazy trying to keep us going. But you don't care about that, do you? No, your Daisy's more important to you than Diane. Such a pretty pit. Was upstairs with the gentleman. They just found out that everybody.
Another thing they have that is kind of useful or might be useful is they have net labels somewhere, if I can find it. Here's some old miscellaneous LP records. This looks like a lot of classical.
Bringing me someone to take my hand to be a team with me. So nice.
So let's say I wanted to download that. There should be download options. You could download as MP3 files here. Another good place to find music. Is this place, Free Music Archive. This is another one where it is free you can download stuff, although you need an account. Oops, not sign. Yeah, I do. Sorry, it is sign in. All right, I'm back in here. So, the way it works is I think you can use it as long as it's non-commercial, legally. I don't, if you want to do it commercially, I think you have to buy a license. But, for this, that's fine. You can go by genre, which I really like that it's organized this way. So let's say there was, I don't know, we did classical or we kind of did samba da. Let's do like a, oh, I'm glad though. Looks like it's an instrumental. I think these are mostly instrumental. Kind of trip hop here. All right, let's say I wanted to use this song. I can download, click on it, download. You should give appropriate credit, which means if you're using this in a project at the end. So you could use this for commercial work, it says, so that is allowed. You would have to give the author, which in this case is 1,000 hands credit for that person's work. Okay. Now that we have the music, you may want to make changes to it. Um, this is not really a sound editing class, but I'll teach you guys how to do some very, very basic sound editing. You could install Audacity, which is a free open source or sound program. If you don't really want to do that, there's another one you can work with called Twisted Wave, which is what I like to work with students. It's very basic. It's browser based, so you don't even have to install anything, which I kind of like. It's limited in the sense that you can only do mono recording, which means you don't get two channels, only one. But what I'm going to do is upload a sound file. So I'm going to actually upload the cow audio, and it's uploading here. So this is the audio. I'm going to go through the user interface of Twisted Wave really quickly. You can kind of zoom in and out of the sound file here. This is the sound wave. When it's thinner, that means it's the audio is low, and when it's thicker, that means it's louder. Okay. So I can hit play to play this back. So there's not much going on. Okay. So there's a lot of dead space here, and I might actually just highlight this and delete it to get rid of it. 'Cause I don't really need it. Now, to let you guys kind of know, when it comes to sound, this is an audio meter. And right now it's about at -20. You want to make sure your audio is not too hot, so to speak. It can't be too loud. If it does, that could damage the person's speakers. Um, but you also don't want it too low. Most of the time, people try to keep it around -12. So what I'm actually going to do is raise the audio levels here. The way I'm going to do that is by going under audio, or sorry, under effects and use amplify. Amplify would let you increase or decrease the sound within your project. So sound is measured in decibels. Okay. If it says 0 dB, that's not actually mute. Instead, that means that's the default level of the music. I want my music to be a little bit more intense or the sound effects. So I'm actually going to raise it to maybe like 2 decibels. Okay. And you can see that the sound wave got a little bit bigger. You can see it got a little higher there. Once again, maybe I'm going to highlight everything. Amplify. Maybe let's raise it to like 5. There you go. A little bit louder. See how it got to about like -13. That's pretty good. And so what I'm going to do is let's download this. Download. You can choose the format. I would keep it as maybe an MP3, AIFF, or a WAV file. Those are the easiest to deal with inside of After Effects. I'd give it a better name, so I'm just going to call this cow sound or cow moo or something that makes sense. You can pretty much keep these. I'm not really a sound person, so 128 is a pretty good bit rate, I would say. I'm going to hit download, and that's going to download that sound. I'm going to open up, let's close this window. I'm going to open up the other music. So let's do 1000 hands. Oops, looks like there was an issue. Maybe it's having trouble with that one. So let's do the other one for now. Okay. Here is Samada. And let's pretend it's a very long song. So let's just pretend I took the middle, I don't know, middle 5 seconds. So this is about 5 seconds. Now, what you might want to do is have what's called a fade in. A fade in is when it goes from soft to loud. And you can see what happens is it makes this go from, it kind of fades in there a little bit. You could also do a fade out, which would be the opposite, going from loud to soft. Okay. It got a little hot there. See, I got a little high. Not too bad, but I would be careful. So what I might actually do, let's use amplify and lower it maybe just a little bit, maybe 2. There you go. All right. Download. We'll call this music background. Okay. All right. Now that we know a little bit about so that's how to find audio and do some very, very, very basic editing of it. In the next video, we will talk about how to how to load music into After Effects and play around with getting it, just having it work and also being able to apply effects to it.